Hi, this is Karen from CardioGolf, and I'm in the Golf Gym studios today to show you how to use the GolfGym PowerSwing Trainer to get a great upper body and core workout. You can get yours at golfgym.com. So let me start by showing you how to use the PowerSwing Trainer to warm up your upper body. So you can do this at home before you go play golf if you don't have a long way to drive to the golf course, or keep this in your golf bag and do it on the driving range before you hit balls. So hold your PowerSwing Trainer like this with both hands, and then from here get into a nice athletic stance, and you're just taking your arms behind you, squeezing your shoulder blades, lengthening your arms, stretching out your chest and back, and then you can just alternate from front to back like this. So this is a great way to take your shoulders through full range of motion. So do this slowly and breathe. Stretch your arms out. Do some Pilates breath. Inhale one direction, exhale the other. Take it through the range of motion that you feel comfortable. If this is far back that you can go, if you can go back further, that would be great, or this is something that you should work up to. So taking those shoulders, your chest and back, about 8 to 10 repetitions should really fire up those muscles, get them warmed up, get ready to swing. All right, the next exercise from here is just standing in your golf stance like this, again holding the handles like this, and then extending your arms, and now you're doing more of your golf swing work right here. You're making a nice backswing, extending your arms, trying to shift your weight just like you would do on the backswing, and then you can swing through and extend your arms and really shift your weight just like you would do on the follow through. So stretch the handles out. That'll activate your shoulders. And this now is getting more into the core, into your hips, into your back. So again, 8 to 10 repetitions is a good amount for a warm up. You can do it slow and controlled at first, and then as you get warmed up, you can go faster. I always try to tell people to, if you're doing an exercise that simulates your golf swing, look down at where the ball would be. Try to keep your spine angled just as if you were swinging the club. So avoid doing this action here. You want to really hold your position. Imagine you're looking down at the ball. Here's your backswing, and then you can start a little weight shift here, and then you can really follow through. Great. So that would be a great little warm-up to do before you hit balls. If you want to go a little bit further, let's get into your core and upper body strength. So you go ahead and stand on the one handle and hold it by the grip like this. And then from here, always in athletic stance, trying to keep your core nice and tight. Hinge from your hips a little bit. And now we're just doing some rotators side to side right here. So for this exercise right here, try to separate the upper body from the lower body. So you're turning your back to the target and then tummy to the target, and you're taking your hips through their full range, but you're keeping your feet planted. Try to avoid doing this right here. I mean, that's an okay exercise, but for golf, you want to try to keep your head centered, and you're trying to rotate your shoulders and your hips around your spine, keeping your head centered. Separating what the upper body and lower body are doing. If you have a hard time staying stable, it's because you lack a little ability to separate the upper and lower body, so this is a great way to practice that separation. Turn your shoulders and your core separately from your hips, but obviously your hips are moving, but they're staying stable. So these are just called core rotators. Extend your arms if you have to. Take the handle down a little bit less so there's less resistance. And these handles come in different resistances. So I'm using the light band here. We have heavier resistances if you're stronger, if you want to work up to those resistances, or I like to have all the resistances and do the exercises in different levels. And then go ahead and rest. All right, the next exercise, keep the handle under your foot like this, and then go ahead and hold on to the grip. What I love about this PowerSwing Trainer is it has a molded training grip, so it shows you exactly where to place your hands. So go ahead and put your hands on the grip, get a good grip, get a nice setup as if you were swinging, and then we're just going to do some flexion and extension with the wrist right there. So you can start in your golf swing stance, and then if you want to try to reach your arms up higher and away from your body, it adds more resistance. So you're working those forearms a little bit harder. So nice extension and flexion right here, warming up those extensors in your wrist and your hands, your forearms. This is great for upper body strength right here. You're using your shoulders, and you're keeping your core nice and stable the entire time. So 8 to 10 repetitions of this double wrist extension and flexion right here. All right, from here, start with your right hand first, and then you're standing on the handle and holding the grip like this. Now we're going to focus on a single arm and do some pronation and supination of the forearm. So go ahead and hold it with your palm up, and then you're twisting your palm down. So you're in a nice athletic stance, keeping your core nice and tight, and you're rotating through that forearm using the strength in your forearm, your hands. So this is great for grip strength. You're obviously using some shoulder, some upper body. Your core is staying nice and tight, and you're just practicing rotating that forearm, which you need to do in the golf swing. So 8 to 10 repetitions on this right hand, really getting that grip strength, learning how to rotate the forearm, and then make sure you can switch feet, and then make sure you do that same amount on the opposite hand. So if you're right or left-handed, usually your right hand or left hand, depending on what side you use, is stronger. So if you want to do a few more repetitions on your weaker side to help build that strength equally, would be a great way. So my left hand is a little bit weaker than my right hand, so I might do maybe 10 to 15 repetitions on this side just to try to make that strength equal. So supination and pronation, rotating through that forearm. Obviously, you're using your shoulder and you're keeping your core nice and tight. That exercise will really help you square the club face at impact, because you need to have some pronation and supination in your wrist to square the club face correctly at impact. Continuing with that upper body strength, especially in the forearms and your wrist and your hands, go ahead and stand on it with one foot, and then you're holding the grip up this way with your palms down. And now we're going to do some wrist extension exercises. So you're taking your wrist down into extension and then bringing them back up. So this is really great for your forearms. You're going to build strength in your upper body this way. This is really great to help you with that forearm strength. This will also help you prevent injury, because we're really stretching out those extensors that we use in the golf swing that tend to get injured. If you've ever had golfers or tennis elbows, these exercises will help you stretch out those tendons and muscles to keep them supple and loose. So the lower you get, you can modify this exercise by keeping your hands lower so there's not so much resistance, or you can raise your arms up even to chest height and do this exercise, and you'll feel more resistance. 8 to 10 repetitions, and that will really get into those extensors in your forearms. Then we're going to go ahead and place our palms underneath. Raise your arms, and now we're going to, from here, we'll do wrist flexion. Again, the lower you have it is a little bit more of a modification, and then as you raise up, you'll feel more resistance. So you really want to take those wrists through full flexion. Curling under, this is getting into your biceps, into your shoulders, and you're keeping your core nice and tight, so you're getting a lot of core work at the same time. For these next two exercises, hook your PowerSwing trainer to a low point. Make sure you refer to your quick start guide to see how to anchor it to a stable surface. And then from here, you're going to stand in nice athletic posture, pull the grip of the handle like this, and then we're going to do some wrist extension exercise. So starting from this position right here, you're going to add a little resistance by standing away, and then with your palms down, you're going into wrist extension. And you're really curling your wrists down, trying to take those wrists through full extension right here. So you can do this here at this level with your hands at hip level, or you can go ahead and bring your arms up further and you'll feel more resistance. So this is a great exercise to really get those extensors that are in your forearm. Keeping these muscles strong and supple will help you prevent golfers and tennis elbow, that tendonitis that gets into those joints and tendons. Then you can go ahead and flip your hands under. You can tuck your elbows a little bit closer to your side. Keep your core nice and tight, and then we'll do wrist flexion right here. So you're trying to isolate your wrist and take those wrists through full range, flexing those wrists. You'll feel this a little bit in your biceps. You're getting into your core right here, your shoulders. Further away, more resistance. Closer, a little bit of a modification. For the next exercise, hook your PowerSwing trainer to a high anchor point, and then you're holding on to the grip, getting into a modified golf stance. Now from here, you're in your halfway down position or your transition, and then we're going to go ahead and take you through impact and your follow through. So the further away you stand from the wall, the more resistance. So try to modify and do however you need to get some resistance through the impact area. You want to feel resistance as you come down. You're using your core to turn through. You're using the ground to push off of. And the arms are coming down in front of you. You can see your wrists right here are still a little bit in the flexed position right here, and then they extend through the impact area. When I do this exercise, I like to try to keep the tubing on the outside of my left hand so I can feel some resistance. If I go like this and flip it with my right hand, you can see the tubing is underneath. So you don't want to do this action here. You want to make sure the club is coming from the inside, creating lag. So you can see the tubing is on the outside of my lead forearm. You can see the tubing is on the outside of my hand here, and then that helps me feel the resistance at the impact area. To keep going with this position right here, hold it with your back arm only. And then from here, you can take your lead hand and put it under your elbow like this. As you come down, you're shifting your weight and your back elbow comes in front of your hip. And then from here, you can extend your arm. You can extend your arm. So your arm is slightly bent right here at the transition area, and then through impact, it rotates and straightens out. Where people go wrong is that they would do this, straighten their arm from the top, flip their wrist. So you want to avoid that. You want to feel a little bit of a shift. You can see my elbow is still bent, my wrist is still back here in flexion, and then it goes ahead and extends through. All right, go ahead and hold it with your lead hand, and then you can take your back hand and put it on your wrist. This will help you keep your lead arm extended. Where people go wrong is that arm bends, so you can assist yourself. Now from here, as you come down, you want to pull the band and then keep that tubing on top of your left hand so that you feel a nice flat lead wrist at the impact area. You don't want to flip it like this. In fact, it's almost impossible to do that with this tubing. The PowerSwing trainer helps you get into the correct position. helps you get into the correct position. For the next exercise, anchor it down with your right foot and then go ahead and hold on to your PowerSwing trainer with your good grip and a good setup right here. And now we're going to take your backswing through full range and then practice following through on the other side right here. So you don't want to finish like this. You want to have nice rotation through the forearms. You're really pulling the resistance. You're feeling this in your core. Your head is still looking down where the ball is, but your hips are turning through. Where people would go wrong is that they would look like this. So rehearse getting into these positions slowly. Feel the resistance, and then you can go ahead and do it faster. Go ahead and anchor it down with your other foot. And now we're going to take it again through your full range backswing, impact, and your follow through. Do it at first in parts to really feel the resistance. Use your core, try to extend your arms, and then you can do it faster. After doing those two exercises, you'll really feel how you can create some power when you swing a golf club. You'll feel the resistance and you can swing faster, get more club head speed. For the next exercise, hook your PowerSwing trainer to a mid-anchor point, about chest or rib high here. And then from here, create some resistance. Hold on to the grip right here, and then you're extending your arms and bending them. So this is a modified Pallof press where you're just trying to stabilize your core, extend your arms. You're going to do 8 to 10 repetitions, and you'll really feel this in your obliques, in your shoulders, a little shaking in your core. That means it's working. So you do 8 to 10 repetitions on one part. It's an anti-rotation exercise to help you with your stability. And stability is so important in the golf swing. And then make sure that you turn around and do the opposite side. Stability is your ability to hold a position, and that's important in the golf swing because you want to be stable so that you can get into those good positions and create power from those stable positions. Stay at this midpoint right here, create some resistance, and now we'll rotate. So you're using your obliques, you're keeping your core nice and tight, you're trying to keep your arms straight and strong, which you want to have through the impact. So you're not doing this action right here. You're really extending. The further you stand from the wall, the more resistance that you will create. Remember, we have the PowerSwing trainer in different resistances. There's light, medium, and heavy. So you can choose the resistance for your fitness level. And then you can work up to the heavier resistances as you get stronger. Make sure you do the rotation on the opposite side. Let's continue with that upper body strength and hook your PowerSwing trainer to a low anchor point. Get into some nice athletic position. From here, hinge from your hips. Stick out your rear end. Keep your core nice and tight. Try to avoid this position right here. We're doing a bent over row. So you want to be in nice You're in a nice athletic position, and then from here we're rowing. So creating resistance by standing further away from the wall, and you're doing a nice upright row, trying to keep your core nice and tight. Try to really pull with your shoulders, squeeze your shoulder blades together around your spine. Nice range of motion. Try to avoid using your hips like this. Keep a nice hinge from your hips. Keep your rear end out. Keep nice and stable with your lower body using your back chain, not your front chain. So you don't want to do the row like this. This would be wrong. Hook your PowerSwing Trainer again to a mid-anchor point, and then hold it just with your lead arm. I'm left-handed, so my lead arm is my left arm. And then go ahead and tuck your shoulder next to your side. You can just put your hand on your hip like this. And now we're going to do some rotation through the shoulder. So this is external shoulder rotation, working on our shoulder health right here, preventing injury, strengthening that rotator cuff, using your bicep, your tricep here, and of course your forearm and your grip strength. Trying to keep that elbow tucked to your side. You have to keep your core nice and stable to do this. Your head also needs to stay nice and steady. So 8 to 10 repetitions on one side, and then go ahead and flip it around. Now you're going to use your back arm, which is my right arm, tucking it to my side, and now I'm doing external rotation here. Working on that rotator cuff, making sure we're doing exercises in different planes of motion. We want to try to create muscle balance, not muscle imbalances. So that's why you have to do some of the same exercises, but in different planes of motion, different ways. All right, now from here we'll work on internal shoulder rotation. So this time hold it with your right hand, your back arm. You can put your other hand on your hip, and now we're going to internally rotate through that shoulder. Step away from the wall to create more resistance, or get closer to the wall to modify. And you want to feel a nice rotation through that shoulder, opening and closing right here. Keeping your core nice and tight. Put your hand on your hip here and keep those obliques tucked in. Nothing hangs out. And then go ahead and flip it over. Now you're doing your lead arm, or my left arm right here. Keeping that arm nice and tucked in so that you're just rotating through the shoulder, isolating the shoulder. For this exercise, you're going to stand on the PowerSwing Trainer and then hold on to the handle. Create some resistance right here. Get into some good athletic posture, and then from here we're going to do side flexion. So you're really trying to bend from your waist and your obliques. So you want to try to imagine you're in two planes of glass, so that you're just doing some side flexion here. Side flexion is important because you have to have a certain amount of side flexion to help with your rotation. Also, side flexion is important, especially if you want to be a good driver. You have to have a nice side flexion when you start with your driver. So try to really feel this in both directions. Reach your fingertips down your knee and resist. Make sure you repeat that exercise on the opposite side. Let's finish this workout with a few stretches. Go ahead and hook your PowerSwing Trainer to a low anchor point. Hold on to the handle with one arm, and then from here, you're just gonna go ahead and do some shoulder stretches right here. So you're bending your arm like this, and then you're reaching your hand down your back right here, trying to open up your chest, squeezing through your shoulder blades, reaching. You can add a little bit of a back arch if that's comfortable to you. and breathe. So we're going to hold this for about 30 seconds. If you can hold it up to a minute, that would be the ideal. Right there, you're really stretching your shoulder, your tricep, your oblique. Good. Go ahead and carefully come out of that, and then you're switching your hands, bend your elbow, and then reach your hand down right here. Open up that chest and back, rotate through. You might have to wiggle around, reach away from the wall to feel the resistance right here. A little shaking in the arm, that means that that muscle is trying to relax. Try to hold the stretch for at least 30 seconds. That's the time that it takes to relax the muscle. For the next stretch, hook it to a higher anchor point right here, and then you can hold onto the handles and then reach back, get into some good athletic posture. We'll just do a little puppy dog stretch. So reach your tailbone long, if you can get your ears between your elbows. We're getting a little bit into the hamstrings right here, your low back. Keep your tummy tucked in. You'll feel this in your shoulders if you want to let go of one arm and stretch the shoulder. Holding, feeling the length everywhere in your shoulder and your back and the back of your legs, even ankles right here. And then you switch and you can do the other arm. The hinging over, put some weight and resistance on the back of your legs. Flexibility is so important. Flexibility, you just have to spend time stretching. Holding the stretches for 30 seconds up to a minute would be the ideal. Bend your knees, soften, and come out of there. All right, let's finish this workout by just working a little bit on your swing technique. So hooking your handle to a mid-anchor point right here, we can work on the takeaway. You're just trying to resist, make a nice wide takeaway. Something that you can do a few minutes every day. If you don't get a chance to go to the golf course, you can at least rehearse your posture. Nice wide takeaway, and then you can turn around and do the downswing. So there you have it, a nice upper body and core workout with your PowerSwing trainer.